James, bring us up to speed a little bit on kind of what's your story, man, because you are doing something I'm completely jealous of and very, very fascinated by. So welcome, man. I appreciate a few minutes of your time.
Yeah, no problem. Just pretty much my story is a person who's always been fascinated with racing, but haven't really had the money or like the expertise to get into it in like a actual realistic way. So pretty much just last year I figured out about iRacing, figured out they had released dirt oval stuff, which is right up my alley. I love that kind of racing. Grew up watching it over at Wilmot and Angel Park Speedway.
Right on.
Watching the Pepsi Nationals over there were some of my like favorite memories of racing. You know, watching Scotty Hatton and all them go at it. So
That's awesome midget days up there, man.
still had a fun time with that. But nowadays, with kind of iRacing, I'd never expected to do this whole professional deal like it kind of turned out to be. It was more just me having fun, chilling out with friends, that kind of thing, being part of the dirt community. But it ended up being that they came out with the USAC Pro deal, and well, I was already pretty good at non-wing, so just went through the qualifier. So there's pretty much a season we had to go through where we just have like a small championship, and you had to get a certain amount of points for that. And then I managed to get enough points to where I could get into the pro deal, which there was only 30 cars that got into it. So did good enough for that. Started off first couple weeks a little rough, but this last week got second at Eldora, so I'm super happy about that. We did awesome this week, did a lot of good preparation, that kind of stuff. So
I love
it's
that.
been good.
All right. So I've got to like circle back on a lot of this here because you just threw out a lot, and I want to bring some people up to speed on kind of what we're even doing. And that is that, iRacing came out, and for those that don't know what it is, it's a virtual racing simulator, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty much the equivalent of driving a real race car, as real as it gets, if shy of actually sitting in one, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I've never sat in an actual race car, so I can't tell you how close it is to an actual one. But as a testament, Ronnie Werdeman, who just raced in the Four Crown Nationals in Silver Crown category, he qualified ninth and ended up 14th in the race against some of the best, biggest names
Absolutely.
in USAC. And I literally talked to him. He said, "Wow, you did really good." He's like, "Yeah, thank God for iRacing." I was actually taken aback by that, but he
That's
said
awesome.
just the time being on track, learning how the track kind of changes, has really helped him in his actual racing career. So I thought that is like pretty much an awesome testament for iRacing.
So no, I absolutely couldn't agree more. And now kind of take us a step further, because you said USAC Professional Series, and by professional, I literally want this to sink in with people that you guys are racing for, it's 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, or 9 weeks.
9 weeks for a chance to win. The winner of the championship gets $6,000.
Yes, so
Real money.
$6,000 just from the championship, and you can get money for getting wins and podiums in separate races.
So you could legitimately be making some real money this year playing iRacing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Man, I
In the
love
wing
that.
card deal, Alex Bergeron, the professional that won that series, won $10,000 overall, and then just even that blows my mind.
So there's real money involved here, and we're just talking at the dirt level. iRacing, of course, goes into every form of motorsports, virtually at this point. And there's some even bigger deals out there, I know, in the NASCAR land and Formula One and all that stuff. But tell us, because what I love about your story is, you've been a race fan forever, but you didn't actually get into iRacing. I was just looking at your stats a few minutes ago, and I'm so jealous of you. But I was looking at your stats, and you got into this in November of last year, right?
Yeah, super late compared to a lot of these people that I'm racing against.
November of last year, and so that's just shy of a year now, and you're racing in one of 30 spots for a chance to win $6,000 and plus a lot of other stuff. How awesome
Yeah,
is that? How cool is that?
yeah, no, it is really cool. I don't know. I honestly don't know the difference between me and anyone else. I see a lot of myself in a lot of my teammates, which is really good. So hopefully we'll be see some more of our team up at the pro level pretty soon here. But I guess it has something to do with versatility. As a little kid, I was playing lots of Gran Turismo. Like my earliest memories, like with hanging out with my family, my brother, my dad, all that kind of stuff. We were playing Gran Turismo 3 on like those really crappy old wheels.
Oh
Like,
man, I love that. I love
the
that.
early Logitech ones. So that are some of my early memories. We do the rally and that kind of stuff. But no, just playing those kind of games, just learning how to drive one technique to another, I guess translated like just the hand-eye coordination, I guess, over to the USAC deal. And I guess just having the passion for it just led me to racing it more and more, and just really having the passion to develop my skills in the capacity of a dirt oval. So,
oh, man, I just absolutely love the story. So you gave me a great, transition right there. And you mentioned team. You've got a team within iRacing, and this, again, just is this stuff exists for the people in my world that don't know about this stuff. I mean, there is a group of people that are immensely dedicated. I have a good friend, Billy Rowley, that, he is so immensely dedicated to this sport of e-racing, and it blows me away. So tell me about that team dynamic and kind of how'd you guys get connected, and, tell me how that's really evolved.
So it was actually a really interesting story with me and Billy Rowley. So I hadn't actually gotten into iRacing yet when I found about Billy Rowley. I had actually looked on YouTube for news about Connor Daly when he was having issues with the Lilly Diabetes sponsorship thing in NASCAR.
Okay.
And Billy had just interviewed him like that week. So I found one of his videos on iRacing and just heard him talk. He was a pretty interesting conversation. Seemed like a really good group of guys. Well, I finally got into iRacing after I kind of got tired of my PS4 and Project Cars 2. So then I just naturally just waited for a couple of his Twitch streams and then just, try to say, hey, introduce myself, that kind of stuff. And after a while, I think they could see that I was a pretty good race car driver, which I'm very appreciative of. I think they recognized I had some manner of talent, but not only that, but I was a cool person to hang out with. A lot of what we stress on our team is not the fact that you're just fast, but that you can just be a good representative of the dirt oval community and just make us appear good. And that's kind of the team dynamic, is we're not necessarily worried about speed on Elbows Up Sim Sport, which would be our team, Billy's team that he owns. We're more worried about that you're a good group of people that are very respectful on the racetrack. Even if you do make a mistake, throw a bad slide job or something like that, you're out there being the first one to apologize for it.
Right.
And I think we stress that more than anything else, because it overall, like all in all, it is a game. Although there is money for it, you can't just go around smacking people around.
Right.
That's just not something you want to do, because that just makes a very toxic community. It makes a not enjoyable experience for anyone.
Well, and I would even take that a step further. I had never been around. I didn't play video games a whole lot. I certainly love them, and played them a fair share. But what I love about what translates from the real racing world to the esports community is that there's such a sense of community. And you mentioned that, it's so many good people coming together to do something that they love to do. And that's really translated so beautifully into this as well. I mean, I've run into Billy at the racetrack. We've had some really cool conversations on the phone, and it's just another way to bring a great group of people together and form that sense of community. And man, and it's even better because there's ways to monetize it now, and there's ways to make money doing it, which is so badass.
And getting into it, I had no idea that I'd be racing for money or any of that kind of deal, that I'd even have a sponsor helping me out with this kind of stuff, and really just kind of like putting it to that next level where it's very similar to real racing in that aspect. So if you're like not into video games, but you're kind of thinking about it, I think iRacing is a really good stepping stone. It's like you said, it's not even like a video game at this point. It can be almost a real way to make money. It's crazy. I never thought that when I joined a year ago.
It's just completely awesome. Now, if you don't mind, so many people I know as in all forms of racing, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a rig, on the most expensive steer. I mean, people have taken technology beyond it's amazing with virtual reality, et cetera. So tell us about the rig that you have, because, I don't think just, knowing and talking to you, that's not the way you're rolling yet, but kind of show us the rig you're using. How does somebody get started doing this? You mentioned, this is maybe a path for somebody who wants to kind of consider racing. Show us that, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So right here is kind of my old set. So a lot of wires hanging out everywhere. There's very much a college level try here. So pretty much all this is a Logitech G29 entry level wheel. I believe it's only like $250. You could probably get it lower than that, dollars overall, which is pretty inexpensive for what you're getting. So to actually qualify for the pro deal, this is actually what I started out on. This is a single monitor, HP monitor. You're not going to have very good situational awareness, so you have to kind of learn and figure out where people are going to go when you're on the racetrack, figure out how your car's going to react so you don't just slide into them and start smacking them around. And it was a very cheap way to do it for the longest time, but then as soon as I figured I'd make it to the pro deal, I actually got some assistance from my good friend Anthony Job. He sold me a VR headset for $150, which is pretty damn cheap considering how much VR headsets can run you. So what that allows me to do is, when it pretty much is me sitting in the car now. I can look to my left, check, make sure no one's, coming up on my inside, trying to put any moves. Or if I'm trying to throw a slide job, I can kind of easier gauge where they're at and just make an appropriate move instead of just kind of Hail Marying it, hoping that I'll make it clear.
So I want to back up. You said you qualified for the pro league with one monitor, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Racing on dirt with one monitor, you can't look to your right, and you spend 90% of your time going through a corner looking to your right. So the fact you said you did that and you felt your way through it, that's impressive. I'm impressed.
I thank you for being impressed by that. I didn't think anything of it. I thought I would just the poor way, kind of get my way through.
I tried that for a while, and that's hard.
In the non-wing car, especially, you're sitting there, especially the way the old car used to be compared. It's not so much that you have to throw it in sideways now, but back in the day, you definitely had to do that a little bit more, especially on the bull rings. But yeah, single monitor, it'll get you by. And it definitely helps build up the fundamentals. I'm not going to talk anything bad about the single monitor setup because that's sometimes just the way it has to be. Not everyone has a bunch of money to dish out on the sim, kind of like how I did. I just kind of eventually built this up over a year.
That's fantastic. Now the VR is the last thing I really kind of want to touch on here real quick, and then I'll let you get on with your Saturday night. But the VR technology. I've had so many people, have questions about that. I talk about it all the time with people that I, am around, and I love it. I mean, it is truly, I can attest. I had the opportunity to race some, midgets and sprint cars. And I mean, you look down, you see the torque tube, you look up, you see the birds flying by. It is as real as it gets, not quite as crystal clear as, face to face, but man, it's 85% of it. And it's awesome. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that is one of the coolest things. That brought iRacing to a whole new level of cool for me. Being able to look to your side, see everyone, it's a different experience. It makes you so much more immersed. Definitely makes you a lot more situationally aware when you're racing against other people too. But I would say if you get the first generation VR headset like I got, it's not, like you said, not crystal clear. It's very blocky. Still, the pixels aren't too great, but no, it does the job. Again, I'll take that any day. Having a little bit less graphics for the trade-off and situational awareness when I'm in that race. So overall, fantastic. I'm not going to complain, and it's been a fantastic experience so far. This whole iRacing deal has just been blowing my mind as I go on because I not for a second thought that I'd be a pretty much esports pro a year ago when I started this deal.
Absolutely love it. And it sounds like you've got some other good stuff in the works right now. So it's, success is making good things happen for you. And I love the story. So you guys are racing when? You're racing every Wednesday night at this point?
Every Wednesday night, about 7:45 East or Central is when we start kind of the broadcast, I believe. And then, you can catch us on Flow Sports if you have the subscription to that. Also, iRacing Esports on YouTube is a way you can find the USAC races every Wednesday. And it's pretty accessible in terms of fan. You don't have to pay anything for the YouTube page, so that's all free. To go more in depth to how this pro deal goes, we have announcers out there, not only one, but I think there's 4 or 5 announcers, each doing their own interviews, paying attention to the different battles going on at the track, and it's truly
incredible.
Realistic.
It's truly incredible. I mean, watch the Flow Racing coverage, and it looks slightly like a video game, but the announcing quality is as good as going to a racetrack. They do an extraordinary job. I absolutely couldn't be more impressed for what they're doing. They're making esports just like going to a racetrack or watching it on TV. It's absolutely cool what they're doing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and again, that adds so much more to the actual racing aspect that you can go back later in that day and watch yourself battling with people and have like announcers hyping you up just makes the experience so much cooler. And
Yeah.
you know, you don't even have to be a pro to have that kind of experience. You can join some of these leagues and they have their own dedicated announcers in that and their own sponsors and that kind of stuff.
It's its own industry at this point, and I think it's going to do nothing but continue to grow. I'm super excited to be a part of this and this journey with you guys. So, man, I'm going to let you get at it. Thank you so much for your time, though, this evening, James. It was awesome talking to you as always, and we'll look forward to this upcoming Wednesday, man.
All right, awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for the call. Thanks for kind of letting me in.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.